I didn't know You Ought to Know was an Alanis Morissette song until like years afterwards.
Really?
Because You Ought to Know I would always see on like people singing on like talent shows. So I would always see that, and I always figured it was like a song from like the 70s.
Oh.
Yeah, so I didn't know it was an Alanis Morissette song until
it was like when you thought Red Hot Chili Peppers were from the 70s.
Yeah. To me, like every like sort of rock group
You're like, 70s.
is from the 70s.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Gay Matt's Patron Only Edition. It's time for a true iconic album.
Like the others aren't true.
They are, but like this one, if we were going to rank the iconic albums, would be top 2.
Whoa.
Yes. Butterfly, then this.
Wow.
I think this is one of the best albums that have ever been recorded, ever been put to wax.
And it's so interesting because you should be angry at this album for
I mean, yes.
shutting Mariah out at the 1996 Grammys.
Yes, the 96 Grammys were tough for all of us because Mariah Carey got shut out of, I believe, 6 nominations. But Album of the Year was always one I wasn't that mad about because Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill is one of the greatest albums of all time. I remember being in 4th grade when it came, 4th, 5th grade. I remember getting it. Wow. I remember having the physical CD when I was in elementary school.
You were not in 4th, 5th grade when this came out. This album came out in 1995. You were in 2nd grade.
Was I in 2nd?
Don't age yourself, darling.
I just remember being in the back of the school bus, having the album, listening to You Ought to Know, not understanding what going down on you in a theater meant. For some reason, I was already a jilted lover. And I understood where Alanis was coming from. I something about You Ought to Know and Ironic. And just like all of the hits that you'd see on VH1 in the morning before school. Just singing it, the songs, because they were inescapable. Like anytime you turned on a radio station in 1995 or 1996, you would be hearing Alanis screaming through at you.
Yeah, when I think of like mid-90s, I think of like Alanis Morissette and Mariah Carey.
Of course! It's an album that has so many emotional colors and layers that I feel like some people really pigeonhole it as being like, oh, it's an angry woman's album. And it's like, not really. You Ought to Know is angry. I would argue that there are a couple of angry moments, but like, so what? The woman has a range of emotions. She's not just gonna sit there and be sugary sweet all the time. Sometimes you get upset.
I mean, like, it is crazy that she was like 19. Like, this is a very, 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 very mature album for a 19-year-old.
Absolutely.
Like,
she had been in the industry for so long. Like, she was on, like, the Canadian version of some kids, maybe Kids Say the Darndest Things kind of show.
That does not sound like an Alanis Morissette thing.
That's what I'm saying. And then she had 2 other albums with, like, teen pop Canadian albums. Prior to Jagged Little Pill, she had dated a Dave Coulier and other type of men in that
very old
in that age range, and so she had lived a life by 19.
Okay.
She had gone through it, gone up, gone down, and so then she moved to LA. She got in the studio with Glenn Ballard, and they made the album of the decade, maybe of a lifetime. From like the kind of sugary pop melodies, but then you hear like the darkness of the lyric and the production. It seems like everything's in such a balance, you know what I mean? It was a classic the day it was made, and it was a classic the day it was released, and it will be a classic the day we all die. You know, it will outlive us all, and just thank you to Alanis. So,
thank you for watching. I don't know what that's
all I really want, what an opener.
It's a perfect opener.
I love that it's kind of a precursor to the Vanessa Carlton White Houses of it all, and that the choruses are all a bit different. Like, it's never like we're going back to exactly what we heard before. So even though the song is a little lighter than a lot of what's on the album, you're like, oh, this girl's a little interesting. Alanis has, you know, gonna write her way around a song the way she wants to. She's not going to be boxed in. You Ought to Know. What can be said about You Ought to Know that hasn't already been said?
I really don't know, but it's just like, who has not felt those feelings and who is not still feeling those feelings?
Right.
You could be in your happiest state.
Yes.
I could literally be on top of the world. The second You Ought to Know starts, I'm just like, back. The fury just starts again.
Because you know what you did, man.
You know what you did, sir. Everyone has a sir who knows what they did.
And they know what they did.
And she certainly has one.
Woo! Dave. Cool, yeah. It's an angry song, sure, but I think it's more than that. It's like, these are emotions that I feel like so often, especially at that time, women don't get to feel and don't get to express. Because angry is not like a pretty emotion. It's not like, oh, I'm lovelorn, I'm heartbroken, or I'm in love. It's not like it's like, no, I'm fucking pissed. Yeah. Like, you know what you did and I'm angry about it and I'm going to express how I hope that every time she runs her fingernails down your back, you fucking feel it.
I hope you fucking
feel it
of me every second of every day, and I hope I haunt your goddamn dreams, you motherfucker. Are you thinking of me when you fuck me? Yes,
an older version of me. Is she perverted like me? Would she go down on you in a theater?
Would she speak eloquently?
Would she have your baby?
I'm sure she'd make a really excellent mother. Like, God, those lyrics are so cutting. It's just like, who is this bitch he's dating now? Because we hate her, and they just, really, it's not her fault, but like, we hate her. We hate her. We hate him. We hate them all.
There's a reason that Britney Spears has covered this in concert. There's a reason that Beyonce has covered this in concert. There's a reason that Kelly Clarkson's My December is completely like, I was inspired by Jagged Little Pill, especially You Ought to Know. Like, there's a reason that women going forward, female artists who have such a point of view, this song resonates with them because it's like, yes, I feel that too. I'm allowed to be angry. This is an emotion I'm allowed to access because Alanis has accessed it so perfectly on this.
And even though it's such a mature album, like, even though like I am a mature, grown adult, like I'm allowed to have these feelings.
Yes.
I'm allowed to have these childish, like I want to throw shit against the wall feelings.
I mean,
you deserve that.
No, I mean, fury's not childish. Sometimes you get furious in your elderly years, and even when you're 19 and elderly like Alanis was, you have fury and you are allowed to access it. So I think that's something to go into the new year with, is we should be able to access every single one of our emotions because they make us who we are.
Yes, let's be furious.
Yes.
I am furious.
Hey, same.
Next is Perfect.
One of my favorites. I think this is such an interesting song.
I love Perfect.
It's so good. I think as a child it was always my favorite because it was like, not that I had these kind of parents, but you knew those kind of parents who were like stage parents who wanted you to run faster and like be the best version of yourself in a way that was almost like, if I can make my child be perfect, then maybe my flaws won't matter anymore. And it's like,
it's such an interesting thing to write about.
I know.
Especially like as like a young artist.
I know. If you actually have the history of being pushed out into the spotlight, because like truly being a child star, child actor is like probably child abuse. Like no one is equipped to handle fame or that kind of attention from a large public and that kind of feedback like at that young age. And so Alanis probably went through it. I'm sure she loves her parents, but I'm sure they did some things she disagrees with and she wouldn't do to her child. And you know, Perfect is a great example.
And like even if like her parents weren't like that, it's like I'm sure there are times where like she felt like they were like oh, maybe my parents like aren't saying these exact words to me, but like I'm weirdly feeling this because she's putting that pressure on herself, you know. So there are times when like we all feel like that.
But a lot of times you get a Matthew Knowles who's really pushing you out there, and maybe you will become perfect like Beyonce or Alanis, but it's like, at what cost?
At what cost? Please see our video about the Turning Point's Broadway search for the next Annie.
The next song is a song that I didn't like as a kid. I never really loved Hand in My Pocket. It has grown on me since. I don't dislike it. I think I was having an issue with like the listicle of it all. You know what I mean?
Love the listicle of it all. I love the listicle of it all, and I love how the listicle like doesn't always rhyme. I love the simplicity of it. I think it's just so cool, and I think it's fun, especially because like you got some really heavy hitters there. It's time to like go back and just be like, but you know what? Hey, I'm doing what I can. I'm just making it through.
You know,
money in my pocket.
I'm sick, but I'm pretty.
And the other one just flicking a cigarette.
Flicking a cigarette. Like, I think it also was probably the first time in my life that I ever felt like, I think they chose the wrong single. I remember seeing the video on VH1 and I was like, they went with this? Like, there are so many hits and they went with this, but clearly there were more hits to be had, and it was fine, but I remember that being the second single and like not being on board.
Wow.
So, I know, as I'll leave, nothing has changed since I was 8, but I mean, I was right, so. I think Right Through You is excellent.
I love Right Through You.
I love Right Through You. I think that is such like you're screaming at that man again, that Dave Coulier asked, that guy who's not listening to you on the date, just wants to fuck you and thinks you're so young and you don't know anything, and I'm attracted to you and that's why I'm on this date. And it's like, no, I have something to say. I'm Alanis motherfucking Morissette.
And I see right through you. I'm still on this date, but...
Then ode to Catholicism.
This is my favorite song
It's excellent.
because it's just insane. Like, what are you talking about?
Talking about-
man, what did you go through?
I mean,
like, I want to know all.
She's talking about her religious upbringing and feeling like she knew that her brothers could get away with anything, but it was never like that for her. And the fact that, you know, being a young religious, I believe Catholic girl growing up came with a price. And she was like, I don't think this is fucking fair. If I jump in this fountain, will I be forgiven? Huh? I just love it. I love it.
It starts off so quiet, and then
Yes.
she's just like screaming in that chorus, and it's just like, yes, like I have chills.
I
like
love
this
it.
feels like the opening of The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
It is borderline musical theater because of the
I
drama
love
of it all.
it.
It's very dramatic, but I still think very affecting and still reads as genuine. It doesn't seem like she's like putting on a show, but it's just, you know, it's just ornate.
Yeah.
You Learn I Could Do Without. This is my least favorite song on the album.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's cute and fine.
Oh, I like You Learn.
I think it's good, and like, you know, it has a cute little video. I remember her in like a green sweater in it.
It is nowhere near the worst song on the album to me.
Oh,
well,
it's-
maybe not like nowhere near, but like it's not the worst song on the album.
I don't love sing-songy, and I feel like you live, you learn.
It's pretty sing-song.
And I don't love it. I've never been like a like I'm not like a Ring Around the Rosie stan. For me, I think it works. And
It
it's like
is sing-song.
sweet, but it just doesn't really hit me like the rest of the album.
Yeah, I mean it's not like a heavy hitter,
No.
but like it's definitely a needed moment after Forgiven.
I guess I want to stay and forget that for the rest of my life. Head Over Feet was going to be played at my wedding. So I hope we're all ready for that because it just is. I'm probably the piano version from the acoustic 2005 Starbucks edition.
Okay.
But it's a lovely, lovely song.
Head Over Feet is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's a brilliant
She
song.
just wrote her fucking ass off because it's like, how do you write a love song that is interesting but still so genuine and sweet, but still has that edge to match the rest of the
and
album?
it's so cool, and it feels like a '90s love story.
Yes.
Like that, it just brings you back to that
Yes.
time, and you're just like, yeah, she's just like a '90s girl, like a '90s teenage
Yes.
girl. Like that's what the era felt
Yes.
like. You know, it really makes me go back in time.
Right. And you're my best friend with benefits. I love that line.
I think all of her songs like on this album are so, well, not all of them, but like a bunch of them are so interesting. I always think like the transitions from like the verses into the chorus, like sometimes they feel like kind of abrupt,
Yeah.
in a certain way,
Yeah.
and I wonder why that is. I think it's so interesting.
It definitely always works, but yeah, she definitely,
Yeah.
I feel like she was consciously like, I want to make interesting choices. Like,
Yeah.
I get that this is a pop album and I get that we're making music for the masses, but I want it to be interesting and I
Yeah.
want it to have like a little turn. And I
Yeah,
feel like
it's
she does it on purpose.
unpredictable.
Yeah. What's the matter, Mary Jane?
I first heard this song when Nicki McKibben sang it on American Idol.
Ew, did she sing this?
Yeah, and she got like really good critiques too. They were like, wow, Nicki, this one was actually good.
I love this song. I'm excited. This brings me back to the thought of the musical because I know that the lead character in Jagged Little Pill, the musical, is named Mary Jane. So
Oh my god, I forgot about the musical.
Never forget Diablo Cody getting the musical together.
Oh my god.
I think it's cool for a moment because the album is so personal through so much of it. So having a song that kind of steps outside of herself, talking to this friend who's just like, who are you losing that weight for? Like, you know, it's just kind of her just telling a story a little bit more. And I think both this and Ironic are more of storytelling songs versus like ripping pages from her diary.
I once read a ranking of all the songs and they put Mary Jane last, and I was like, that's not right.
That's not,
That's not right.
I believe next is Ironic. Now that's a music video that you
Oh,
forget.
yeah, that's the song.
That, and it's so funny that it's so far into the album. It's
Yeah.
like, this is such an undeniable smash. Like, at first listen that you're like, why is this track 10? Like,
Yeah.
this should be track like 3.
It's just such an iconic '90s moment to
Yeah.
me. Like I think of the song. It's like rain on Wednesday.
And it's hard, yeah, it is hard to like completely disconnect it because it's such a huge monstrous. It almost has a life of its own because it's such a big hit, kind of like in the You Ought to Know vein. But I think it's interesting and fun and such a great song to sing along to. And the fact that people still go up to her and say, those lines in your song aren't actually ironic. It's just so fucking annoying. If ever you meet Alanis Morissette, don't say that shit to her. Just thank her for her service.
Yeah, it's like you get what she's doing. It's
yes, you get what she's doing.
Shut up.
I do love her response when they tell her that, and she goes, "Isn't that
Isn't that
ironic?"
ironic? Yeah, it's like all you can.
Tell them, Alanis. Not the doctor. Love.
I love that.
Love.
And when I first listened to the album, like when you first time you listened to it, like probably like 2 years ago.
Yes.
I was like, oh, I don't really like care about this song, but like re-listening to it, it's just like, oh no, this is a fantastic song. Like, it's hard to say like top whatever because like there are so many.
They're
ones.
so good.
Like,
It's so solid.
It's a great song. It's especially
Absolutely.
like where I feel like I'm at in my life right now. No, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not here to like take care of you. I'm not your doctor. Like, get out of here.
And I'm not your mother. I didn't carry you in my womb for 9 months. It's like, I'm not, my purpose in life is not to take care of you and to like be there when you need me all the fucking time. Like, I have agency. I'm a woman of the 90s and I have my own dreams and goals. And like, if I choose to take care of you, you're welcome. But I'm not a fixer. Like, and that's a great thing to not be. Because, you know, I feel like there are people out there who go out and find people that they can fix and want to fix and try to fix. And you know what? They are not to be fixed.
No.
And then the last song. Wake Up.
This song's my least.
No!
This song I listen to it all the time, and I still like don't know how it goes.
I think it's lovely. I think it's like a calming force at the end of the album.
Sure, but like, it's really calm.
It washes over you. Sure, it's not like an earworm or anything, but I think it does what it needs to do. It gives you a moment, a second to breathe. I think it's more interesting than You Learn.
To me, You Learn is just like, yeah, You Learn is a little basic, but like, at least it's memorable.
Guess.
Like, I can sing it back.
I mean,
Wake Up, I can't sing back.
Wake up. Well, I think we all should listen. Obviously, I assume you all know Jagged Little Pill. The secret of it all is all of Alanis' discography outside that last album, which I didn't like. But everything else she has put out has been excellent, varying degrees of excellent, and I feel like we pigeonholed her in this one Jagged Little Pill moment just because it was so iconic and so big. And it is excellent, of course, but I want us all to delve into her other albums. Go into a supposed former infatuation junkie and Under Rug Swept. Give us, you know, a So-Called Chaos. I love So-Called Chaos.
Talked about
if So-Called Chaos was the follow-up to Jagged Little Pill, it would have sold 10 million copies. Like, it's excellent. Excellent. So, I think that's the homework I'm going to assign for today, is that we all go and listen to more Alanis. Obviously, revisit the 2005 acoustic version. Both are incredible, both are perfect, but there's more to Alanis than just
Jagged Little Pill. She's a woman.
She's a woman.
She's a woman now.
Hear her roar. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Tell us below your earliest memories with Jagged Little Pill and what do you love about Alanis Morissette. And if you don't know her well enough, please get on it. Because the woman is an icon, a legend. Jagged Little Pill, one of the best albums of all time. And her follow-up albums are just as good. Please give them a listen, give them a spin, give them a stream. And we'll be back soon with another patron-only 2Gay Minutes.
Bye.